Morning guys, this is Mr. Chauke. I'm a professional teacher of accounting. If you're watching this, you're definitely at the right place. Please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking that subscribe button down there. In this morning's lesson, we're going to be doing bank reconciliation. This paper that I'm treating is one of our materials that we use for classes, so I'm just going to make it easy for you by explaining it to you both in class and also here online. So please make sure guys that when you watch this, you definitely pay attention, and I promise you that this will definitely contribute to what helping you to understand bank reconciliation quickly. Now remember, the foundation of bank reconciliation has already been done on lesson 1 and also a little bit part on lesson 2. So if you want to get a little bit more of that foundation, please make sure that you go and watch the 2 lessons before this one, and I promise you that you will definitely love accounting. So let's continue with the lesson. Now here is saying the following information relates to daily stores for March 2020, right? So meaning that our present month is March 2020. The month that we are focused on, it's going to be March 2020. So this is the information that has got to do with March 2020. Number one, they are saying that update the cash journals for March 2020 by taking into account entries on the bank statement. In other words, when you look at the entries that are in the bank statement, some of the things that you are going to see will be the information that was not recorded in the subsidiary journals. Things like your bank charges, your direct deposits, and so forth. You will not have them in the cash journals because you did not have the bank statement. Okay, now the instruction here, they're saying that you need to start with the provisional totals given. In other words, take the totals of the journals that are given to you down there and include them as part of your starting. Remember, you are updating this journal, so it will make sense for you to make sure that you take the totals of the bank accounts. Okay, so we are going to the answer book and definitely do that. So our CRJ is 116,000, so we are going to do that, or they've already entered it for us. And also if you check our sundry account, is the total is 50,000, so it was already been done for us. So obviously both on the side of CPJ and CRJ, the work has been done. So once this has been done, our work is to make sure that we go there and record our transactions. So here's what we are going to do. I normally tell my learners that remember, the first step of bank reconciliation is that you must check whether information from last year was considered right on the current bank statement. But if you look at this question, it doesn't have BRS from last month, so which means you are going to start with the step whereby you compare the cash journals of this month against the bank statement of this month. Okay, now when you do that comparison, your CRJ, you are going to compare it with the credit side of the bank statement or the plus side of the bank statement, and then your CPJ, you are going to compare it with the debit side of the bank statement or the minus side of the bank statement. You need to remember that the examiners won't always show it to you in a way that you are used to, but you should know the basics to say, when I look at my bank statement, the credit side represents my receipts, the debit side represents my payments. You get my point? Okay, now let's start to do the part where we do the comparison. So if we look at this, we'll realize that with our CPJ, when we start, the first deposit that we have, it is for 50,000, which is for capital. So we are going to look for it in the bank statement, and you can see when you look at the bank statement that 50,000 for our CRJ, that 50,000 appears both sides. It's here on the CRJ, and it's also there on the bank statement. So we're going to tick it to show that it appears. Are we together? So I'm going to tick it here. We tick it to show that it appears both sides. And then the next amount that we have is a deposit of 21,000. So we are going to look for that deposit in the bank statement just to see if we have the same information. So that deposit of 21,000 does appear both on both sides. So we do have it here. Here's our 20,000. I don't have my mouse with me, so it might take me a little bit long. Okay, so here's my mouse with me. I can see that 21,000, it is now appearing on both sides. So you can see it appears here and it also appears there. So let's check. The next thing is the deposit for 15,000, which was done on the 15th. So we need to go there and check, is that deposit really appearing on the bank statement? Remember, the amount is 15,000 and the deposit is represented by a plus on the bank statement. So if you look at this, here is that deposit, it appears, that 15,000 appears. So when it appears, we move on, we go there and also tick it there, so it appears both sides. Okay, and then the next item that we have is a cash deposit of 12,000. We need to make sure that the 12,000 appears both on the bank statement and also there. So here it is, the 12,000 appears here. And then next, what we do, we also check the next amount. The next amount that we have here is on the 22. Remember that 12,000 appears both sides, so we're going to tick it both sides to check if everything appears. And then the next thing that you have is a deposit of 18,000 that took place on the 28th. So we need to check if we have something like that towards that date. So if you check after that, we don't have that 18,000. You can see here on our deposits, it's not there. So if it's not there, guys, we cannot force it to be there. Now you can see that already there are some items that we did not tick, right? But what we are going to do, we will go into these items once because some of them, the information is on the additional information. So what we'll do, we'll go into them once we have also finished comparing with the CPJ. Okay, so let's also check, let's now check our CPJ. So when we look at our CPJ, our first amount is 11,000. Is that 11,000 there both sides? Yes, we can see that it appears here and then it also appears on the bank statement. So we tick it both sides. Okay, and then the next amount that we have is for 2.5. That 2.5, we can see it's EF2. That 2.5 appears here, it also appears here. And then the next item that we have is 3.6. That 3.6 is EFT3. We can see that it appears both sides here, these also. So we can then move on with this. Okay, so it appears both sides. And then next, if you check, we have an EFT4 of 4.8. So we need to check, does that 4.8 appear both sides? If not, we make it, we record it. Okay, here it is. So that 4.8 appears both sides. I hope we are together, guys. So I'm going to change my pen so that I don't create a confusion. Let me change the color to pink. Okay, so now that 4.8 appears both sides, so we are good to go. Now what we need to do is to check the next item, EFT5 for 5.2. So let's check EFT5 5.2. Okay, this, it appears here and it also appears there on the journal, so we can just tick it. And then the next item, we have EFT6 1.9. So we need to check, is EFT6 appearing on both sides? EFT6 1.9, here it is, it appears here and it also appears there. Okay, so it also appears here. So we are done with that part. And the next, we also need to check EFT7 for 3.6. so does EFT7 appear here? Here it is, it appears. So we will tick it on both the journal and the bank statement. Now the next EFT that we have is EFT8 for 20,100. Does it appear here? We go there and check EFT8 for 20,100. So it appears both sides. Then we move on. Okay, we come here, EFT, okay, 20,100, here it is. And then the next thing that we need to also check is we also need to check with regards to EFT9. If you look at our bank statement, it doesn't include EFT9. So now all these items that we did not tick, we must make sure that they are recorded. If there were any mistakes that were done, we must make sure that we correct those mistakes. Okay, and then now we can go to our adjustment. So let's start with the first adjustment. Here they're saying the deposit on 11 March 2020 was monthly rent, so we need to go to the 11th of March. So if you look at the 11th of March where there's a deposit, it's here. It's a direct deposit from M Mashiane, and they said that this was for rent. So I'm going to tick it to show that we are going to record it so that we don't confuse ourselves. Okay, so that rent income, we're going to record it now. So remember, the person who gave us money is M Mashiane. So we're going to come here and then go to the CRJ. Remember, the name of the person is M Mashiane. Okay, and then how much is he giving us? M Mashiane is giving us 7.5, and then this 7.5 is for rent income. Remember, we are going to firstly record in the bank account and then go to the sundry account. So we'll also record that 7.5 here and explain that this is for rent income. Okay, and then we'd have our 3 marks here for recording this. And then the next adjustment that we are having, let's hear what they are saying to us. So the next adjustment says that the debit order on the 20th of March was monthly insurance premium. So we need to go to the 20th of March. Remember, debit order, it means you are paid. So that debit order on the 20th of March is from Quick Insurance. This is where we are. Right, this is where we are. It's from Quick Insurance, and we are paying 3.9 for insurance. So we are going to go to our CPJ and say Quick insurance, and then how much are we paying? We are paying 3.9. so that 3.9 will come here, and remember, this 3.9 is for insurance. Very important for you guys to make sure that you know the contra accounts of these transactions. Okay, so now let's check what else are we supposed to record. Next, they're saying that the direct deposit on the 25th of March was received from a debtor D Dlamini to settle his account. Remember, guys, with a direct deposit, the person goes straight to the bank to make the deposit. So let's check that direct deposit. They said it's for on the 25th. So we need to go to the 25th. So this is where we are. The direct deposit for the 25th, 1,250. So they're saying it's from D Dlamini, so it's supposed to go to the CRJ. So we are going to write D Dlamini, and then he gave us let's see, D Dlamini gave us 1,250 as a debt. So we're going to write 1,250, 1,250, and we explain that this is for debtors control. I hope we are together, guys. And then the next part, the adjustment says that the direct deposit on 29 March was wrongly deposited. Remember, this is an error. If it was wrongly deposited, it's an error. We need to ask ourselves, who made the error? Is it the bank or us? And remember, guys, the format says that you must take a look into when you do your BRS. The format says you would have your debit balance as per bank statement. So I'm going to write those things. So we'd have debit balance as per bank statement. I'm going to write in abbreviations because I don't have enough space, and I'm using a big pen for you to see. And remember, the next item that we would have is credit outstanding deposit, and then the next thing that we would have is debit outstanding EFT. Then you'd also have balances per bank account, but we'll need to wait a little bit before we can write that. So now let's go back to that information. Here they said that the direct deposit on the 29th of March was wrongly deposited into the account of the business, meaning that they we need to check where was the deposit made firstly, which side is the deposit recorded. Okay, so we are going to go to the 29th of March. So let's go there quickly and check. Now if you look at this, you'd realize that on the 29th of March we had a deposit of 18,600, meaning that this increased our money. You can see we moved from 71,400 to 90,000. So this increased our money. It was increased, so therefore we must cancel it by reducing it. Okay, so we are going to go there and do that. So we are going to say debit error, and then I normally tell learners that this is a minus, this is a plus. Okay, so let's check. That error was for 18,600, so we must debit it. So we'll write that 18,600 on the debit side. Then we are done with that adjustment. Okay, then we go to the next one. What does the next one says? It says that the bank, they said that the bank will rectify that mistake, so we know that we must communicate with them. Remember on the BRS, remember errors. When it comes to errors, if they are made by us, we are going to go to CPJ or CRJ. If they are made by them, by the bank, we are going to go to our BRS and do those corrections. Okay, I hope you guys understand. Now the next one says that the debit order on the 31st of March to town council was for water and electricity. So we'll go and check. So remember, who were they paying here? Because they spoke about a debit order. We know that a debit order is for payment, so we will write town council here, town council, and then the amount that was paid for this according to our information, they said on the 31st. So if we go to the 31st, we will see that the debit order was for 3.6. okay, so that debit order was for 3.6. so now that 3.6 is for, they said it's for let me just check the contract count that was given. It's for water and electricity. So we're going to come here and say that the 3.6, remember this will go to the bank, right? Let me just erase so that you guys don't think it's 80,000. Now remember the amount is 3.6, and then also here in the sundry account 3.6, we explained that this is for water and electricity. Okay, and then next what we need to do is, then since we have recorded everything that was told, that was included on the additional information, what we need to do then is to check if there are any other things that are outstanding, both on the or that are outstanding on the bank statement that were not recorded on the BRS. So let's check. We are going to check with our things. Remember our in terms of our, what do you call it, in terms of our where we are receiving money, where there's a plus, it's only one time where we did not record. If you check, this is the only plus where we did not record is for this 75 rand, and they are saying that it's interest on credit balance. So this is part of our interest income. So we're going to come here and say that the bank gave us interest. The name, our bank is Disa Bank. So we're going to write Disa Bank here. Okay, and then they gave us 75 rand, so we write that 75 rand, and we explain that this is interest income. Okay, then we are done with the receipts. So let's maybe try to get the total. So the total of our receipts, you must make sure that you include also that provisional total that was given to you. You must make sure that it is included. So how are we going to do it? We are going to say 116,000 plus 7,500 plus 1,250, and also plus 75 rand, which will give us 124,000 825. Then we proceed to the sundry side of that and in the answer book. So let's see how much are we getting. If we say 50,000 plus 7.5, and then also plus 1,250, then we also say plus 75. It is going to give us 58,000. Let's say 50,000, 7.5, 1,250, and then plus 75. It gives us 58,825. Okay, and then I'll show you where to use this information again. Then let's also check what else was not recorded. Let's look at our payment. You can see that this item here was not ticked. You can also see that this item here was not ticked, you see, and also this one, they were not ticked. So which means that we need to make sure that they are also recorded. And if you look at them, cash handling fee, your cash handling fee, and you also look at your, what's the next one, your service fees, as well as the EFT charges. They are part of our bank charges. So all we need to do is to add all of them together and have them as one account. So I'm going to add them here so that you can see. So let's check. So it's going to be 125. Remember, we are going to say 125 plus 125 plus 212. So we'd say plus 212, and then also plus 388. Okay, so all these items will give us our bank charges. So let's say 125 plus 212, and then also plus 388. It is giving us 725. So we'd have that 725 as bank charges. Remember, bank charges, we get them from a DISA bank. So we're going to write DISA bank, and then we're going to write that 725 and also 725 here, and we explain that this is for bank charges. I hope we are together, guys. And once we are done with this, all we need to do is to add these items. So we're going to add the bank and the sundry account column. So if you say 54,700, you say plus 3.9, you also say plus 3.6, and then plus 725. It is giving you 62,925. So we'd have that 62,925 here. I'm going to confirm again. If you say 54,700, you say plus 3.9, you say plus 3.6, and then you say plus 725. The answer is 62,925. And then we also go to our sundry account. If you say 5.7 plus 3.9, and then you also say plus 3.6, and you also say plus 725, that's going to give you 13,925. Okay, so let's confirm 5.7 plus 3.9 plus 3.6, and then you also say plus 725. The answer that we're getting is 13,925. So all we have to do now is to make sure that we post our information. What do we mean when we say we are posting? It simply means that we take the totals of the bank accounts of both the CRJ and CPJ, and we post them to our bank account in the T account. Okay, so that's what we are exactly going to do now. So now one of the things that you must also take a look at is the opening balance of the bank account. They will always tell you something about it, so you must pay attention to that. They will normally give you the information at the beginning. So now remember here, the second thing that we are supposed to do is to prepare that bank account, but you cannot prepare the bank account without recording the transactions that took place on the bank statement and also correcting the errors. Okay, so now here they are saying that prepare the bank account on the 31st of March 2020. Note that the bank account on the 1st of March reflected a debit balance of 21,300. So remember, if they're talking about a debit balance, it means it was favorable. So when you write that balance, you must write it on the debit side. So I'm going to come here and say, let me just check whether it's 2020 or 2021. So it's 2020. So I'll just say 2020 March the 1st. Then I would have my balance brought down as according to our information it is 21,300. So I'd have it as my 21,300. And then also on 2020 March the 31st, I'll have my total receipts. Remember, I'm going to look at the CRJ for this information. Under folio column, you'll write CRJ. So our total receipts according to our CRJ is 124,825. So we'll put it here, 124,825. And then here we're going to put our total payment. So I'm going to write 2020 March 31st, and then I'd say total payments. And then remember, this is from the CPJ, and then the total that we're going to write, is 62,925. And then from there we check between the two which side is the biggest. We use it to balance. So if you say 21,300 plus 124,825, it's going to give you 146,125. So we'll write that 146,125 here, 146,125. Then remember, we are going to have a balance carried down this side on the 31st, okay, which will become on 2020 April the 1st, it will become our balance brought down the same amount that you get here. So we're going to say 146,125 minus 62,925, and then the answer that we are getting is 83,200. So it's 83,200 here, and we also put 83,200 here. Then if you check the balance, remember this increases on the debit side and decreases on the credit side. So if you check the balance of the bank account, it is on the debit side. So when we go to the BRS, we are going to say balance as per bank account. And then if you look at here, you will realize that 83,200 that we calculated, it's on the debit side. So we'll write on the debit side 83,200, and then from there we just have to balance. Now remember guys, credit outstanding deposit, we are talking about that amount that is on the journal but not on the bank statement. So in this case, that amount for us is this one, is this 18,000. So we are going to record it on the credit side because it represents the inflow of money. So it will be on the credit side, and then the outstanding EFT is that amount that is on the cash journal but not on the bank statement. So let's check it quickly. That amount for us, according to our information, it is EFT 9 for 2,000. So that 2,000 will come on the debit side here, okay, and then from there all we have to do is to balance this. So let's check the debit side is the biggest, so we'll say 2,000 plus 18,600, and then also plus 83,200, and then the answer that we are getting is 103,800. So that 103,800, we'll write it on both sides, 103,800. And then what we do now, we look for the balancing figure. If you check this answer here, it can be a debit or a credit balance. So unfortunately, it's a balancing figure, it won't be always debit, sometimes it will be credit. So I'm going to erase here because we can already tell that the balance of the bank statement is on the credit side, because the shortage is on the credit side. So I'm going to put credit here. Okay, so we have credit balance as per bank statement. So that balance is the balancing figure. So 103,800 minus 18,000 will give us that balancing figure, which is 85,800. And by doing this, guys, we are done completing our bank reconciliation statement. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed the lesson. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button down there. If you want me to become your personal tutor, you're more than welcome to get in touch with me. Remember, our lessons are charged from 500. If you want me to teach you alone, face to face, I can definitely do that, only if you are around Hammarskraal. But if you want me to teach you alone online, you're more than welcome to get in touch with me using the details that are available in the description of this video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. May God richly bless you. Shalom.